I want to just say a few more words based on what was said this morning when that man was speaking about his medication and that it was all right to take medication. And I realized, maybe I could never say enough on it, this idea that there's a particular formula that has to be followed before you can realize the truth of who you are or be happy is very superstitious. And we usually think of superstition as something like from long ago. Cavemen were superstitious. You know, if there was an eclipse of the sun, they would run in and hide. Or maybe a little later, people believed they had to pray to bring the sun up every morning. And that's superstitious thinking, and it's obvious. And then with the formation of the Western Catholic Church, that only the Pope was communicating with God, or only the priest were communicating with God, or only men could communicate with God because women were inherently filthy because of menstruation. So then the superstition that had to do with cleanliness, a certain kind of purity had to do with cleanliness, superstition. And it comes from the East as well. It's the same thing, you have to be an ascetic, you have to renounce the world, you have to follow a particular diet, you have to. And that's all in there. It's in our collective psyche. Either what we've taken on from our culture or what we've taken on from another culture to escape our culture's superstitions. And it can be very scary to let them go. To actually have no belief in anything needed to be who you are. To realize the truth of yourself. To be happy. This can be terrifying because of the power of superstition. And the power of superstition is there because of our belief that if we only know the formula, then we'll be saved, or then we'll be in control. And so we strive to know the formula, and there are plenty of people willing to give you their formula. And it's usually based on their experience. What worked for them becomes the formula. And so it becomes an imitation. To me, one of the most profound things Papaji ever said was, someone said to him, so Ramana Maharshi said that the last obstacle is self-doubt. And he sat with that a while because he certainly didn't want to seem to be contradicting Ramana. And he said, well, the truth is, the only obstacle is the belief that there's an obstacle. And this belief is very strong. And when we have this belief, we search for proof of the obstacle. So my bipolarness, or my neurosis, or my non-vegetarian diet, or my outburst of what somebody said, raging dysfunction, is proof that I am not at the core, the self, that I have something I have to do to get there. There may be lots of things to do to work on your personality, or to fix your diet, or to be a better person. But to be happy, to realize the truth of who you are, needs nothing. And in your willingness just to investigate that, that's a huge leap. Because to investigate that, you have to, for at least a moment, cut your ties with all the belief systems, with all the concepts, east and west, north and south, up and down. And it's scary. I felt like maybe I was going to go to hell. All of a sudden, a Christian conditioning came back. Maybe I'm going to go to hell. I hadn't thought of hell in decades. But there it was, waiting. You'll go to hell. It's like, wow. And that was just a strand that had to be, well, so be it. That's the only way you recognize what is free I'm not saying you don't make mistakes. People have been in that same situation and made a choice that actually led to hell. And there you find satsang also. Satsang is not limited by any formula. It doesn't just happen in paradise. It happens in hell. It happens on earth. It has happened in your life. It has appeared in your life mysteriously. From your own heart, from your own soul, from your own self, to cut all the strands of conceptual garbage of how you could possibly be separate from divine truth and love, from God, from fulfillment. And to not wait for a priest to confirm that, or a guru to confirm that, or your mind to confirm that, but to really stop and let your mind fall into where it is already confirmed. It is already radiant and resplendent. Is really the invitation of true satsang. So when I've spoken in the past about vigilance, it's really about that, about recognizing how easily we can start to follow a thought that has some legitimacy based on some conditioning. Based on conditioning that's maybe served at a particular point. I know that there are modern teachers that say you can't take antidepressants and realize yourself. That's not true. That doesn't mean antidepressants can't be misused. They can be. There is no formula. In the willingness for there to be no formula, you are space itself, realizing itself. And this human form is a part of that realization. It's not the source of the realization. It's a part of it. It's included. It's present. So each of us has limitations, and they may or may not fall away. They may or may not self-correct or be corrected by some article you read in a paper. You know, that's fine. That happens at a certain level. But at the depths, you are free and whole, and love itself, finding itself, freshly, anciently, always deeper. And so all of the conversations we have in here, all of the exercises, my whole purpose by appearing in your consciousness is to point to that. I'm a person like you. I happen to be in a female, filthy body. Guess what? You know, maybe next it'll appear in a talking dog or something. Wherever we think it can't appear, it has to appear. Because it is all-inclusive. So if you look internally and you are certain it can't be there, that's where you have to find it. Because it is the totality of being. You are the totality of being. And in this precious incarnation of being, whatever form, male or female or in between or both, you can realize that. To paraphrase our new president, yes, you can. And when you hear a thought that denies that, you recognize what that is. That self-doubt, that imaginary obstacle. You don't have to go to war with it. You just drop your attention underneath it. And what is here? What is always here? Don't let anyone tell you it's not for you. This lifetime, this moment. Because that's not the truth. It is absolutely for you. If you are called to it, it is for you. I guarantee it with my life. And you can guarantee it with yours, just by surrendering to that yes and discovering it in all situations. Internal situations, external situations. It's irrelevant. The discussion has to stop. Because the discussion is built on superstitious thinking. You know, if I spill salt, I have to throw salt over my left or right shoulder. I never can remember. If I say something nice about my grandchild, I have to... Don't want the gods to notice my grandchild. If I step on a crack, I have to back up. I mean, it's that primitive. Only it seems sophisticated because it's of our time. So you have to be alert enough to recognize it and courageous enough to face the terror of letting it go. That's really what yes we can is. And yes we can be true to this and be servants in terms of the evolution of the human consciousness and that which is before all evolution.